welcome back to the channel. My name is Daniel from Woodworking with Dash, and today we're going to make this great looking cutting board. Very unique. It's got all cubes of Jarrah inserted into the perimeter of the cutting board. 2 inches thick, great looking cutting board. But I made it my way, and I made it out of an unusual timber. The timber that I made this cutting board out of is Rubberwood. I get the panels from the big box store, and I can turn them into a 2-inch cutting board. The panel behind me cost me $100, and I can get 5 cutting boards out of it, at 2 inches thick. That's good value, guys. A lot of different people make their cutting boards out of walnut and maple and exotic timbers, but they're so expensive, guys, and I can't afford that. So I'm going to make my boards out of the timbers that I get from the big box store mainly. I'm still going to use a few exotics as highlights in the boards, but the boards are going to be 2 inch thick, end grain. So let's get with it, guys. This is a very simple board to make. Just cutting the Rubberwood now. Big board, small workshop. That's the problem with the garage workshop. Not much room to work in, especially me with all my tools. There, I got it right there. Just cutting him into strips and then docking him to about 280. Just so the joins are staggered, so that they don't line up. If you want a staggered join. And gluing them all up now. Easy peasy. Using my old sash clamps to glue it up. They work well with sash clamps. Time to take the board out of the clamps. Let's do it. Okay, heavy little bastard. Okay, taking the board out of the clamps. Now I'm just going to put it through the sander a few times to flatten it out, and then I'll check it on the table saw base, because that's a very flat surface. Through the sander it goes. Just take a little bit at a time. That's the trick with these sanders. Don't try to take too much. It's come out great. And cutting the edge now, but you see how my saw is struggling. I need a new blade, I think, which I will tell you about in a minute. The saw struggled to get through that bloody block of timber, didn't it? It's 2 inches thick and it's long grain, so it really did struggle. I think I better buy a new blade, I think. Anyway, it got through it and I'll sand it up later. So now it's time to put some colour into the board. I'm going to do that with the mortise machine. I've got the big chisel in here. I'm going to chisel a lot of different holes in random locations. I kind of marked it out there, you see where the pencil marks are? So it'll be like a waterfall of blocks going down the timber. And I'll probably do the blocks in Jarrah, which is the red timber. But first we have to drill the holes. And it's pretty easy with the mortise machine, but it's pretty easy drilling them. But getting the mortise chisel out, it's bloody hard sometimes, but it doesn't want to come out of the holes. And to help it do that, I'm going to put some soap on it. I'll put soap all over the mortise chisel, the outside of it, and that helps with the extraction of it. Look at that, guys, got all the mortise holes drilled. There are 3 different sizes there. So now I'm going to film with the timber. The timber I'm going to film with is a red timber called Jarrah. So the red against the white will look spectacular, guys. Will look really nice. And then I'm going to put a big bevel on the edge just to highlight it a bit. So now we have to machine the jarrah down to fit in the holes. And then we just glue them in like dowels. Through the planer it goes. And screwing them all in now. Just as I said, it's like fitting a dowel. Hammer it in. I've got all the square holes in the round pegs, or the round pegs and square holes, whichever way you want to look at it. But they come up great, look at that. Come up really nice. When that's all sanded up, and then oiled, and then I put a big mould on it, that will look spectacular, guys, spectacular. So the next trick is to just wait for this to dry, and then instead of cutting them, I'm just going to put it for the sander a million times to sand them down flat, I think. I think that might be the way to go, rather than trying to cut them and leave all little saw marks everywhere. Don't know, I'll play it by ear. So we just wait for this to dry now, guys, and we'll move on. A new day, guys, and the blocks are all dried now. I'm going to put the board through the sander to sand them all down. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Take a little bit at a time. Slowly but surely they're being sanded down. Pretty sandy. Look at that. Came up great. So now we've got to just run a 45-degree bevel all the way around the exterior of it, sand up the edges, and then give this a really good sand, and then it's oil time. Yeah, we're almost there. You see how I'm back cutting the board, guys? Because if you push it forward, you tear out the grain. So back cut when you can. Need a bit more oil than that, Dan. Look at that, it's coming up great, isn't it? I wish we had a real white timber in Australia. We haven't. We do have a couple, but they're so rare that you can't use them, like ramen and silver ash. They're all finished. Look at that. Came up great. Very unique cutting board. Just out of a panel from Rubberwood that I got from the big box store. Panel cost me $100 and I used about a quarter. So this panel cost me 25 bucks. Jarrah glue and other things, say 30 bucks. This 2-inch thick cutting board cost me 30 bucks to make. That's cheap, guys. I watch all the cutting board shows on YouTube where they use a lot of walnut and maple, and that's dear timber, especially in Australia. So if I was to make cutting boards out of that, the material in this would be over 100 bucks. So I'm just trying to keep the cost down for everybody, but I'm not rich. I can't afford to use those materials all the time. Very unique cutting board for 30 bucks, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in the next episode. We're probably making another cutting board, but my way. See you guys.